Hello everyone, this is a question, and this is going to be a combination video with just real quick kind of setting out what my goals are for 2024, and then also at the end of the video doing a unhauling. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, thank you for the support. I've been doing this now for just a little over 2 years, which time has been flying by. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. But I've really enjoyed making these videos. I've really enjoyed doing haul videos and reading logs. And, you know, in these few years since I've been doing videos, my collection has grown quite a bit. And, you know, it's hard to keep up with reading that many volumes when you're bringing in so many. And so my number one goal for 2024 is to buy way less manga. So I want to cut down my hauls. I don't want to have nowhere near as many like 100, 80, 100 volume hauls like I had last year and the year previously. I want to kind of keep it under 50 volumes at the highest and do way less pre-ordering of kind of just random volumes. I'm definitely going to cut that down. If you've been watching my videos, you know the way that I usually read manga is I really only read completed series. So I'll check out volume 1 of a series and to see if I'm going to like it, sometimes maybe another volume or two, but mainly just the first volume. And then until the series is completed, then I'll kind of binge through and read it all at once. I don't really do good reading, 20, 30 different volumes month to month or, however often they come out. I just can't remember what's going on and I just don't enjoy reading that way. So what I had been doing in the past was I had been pre-ordering volumes of series that I wasn't going to even be reading for whoever knows when they were going to be completed. So I was just randomly buying the volumes as they came out, even though I wasn't going to be reading them until they completed. So I'm going to stop doing that for the most part, unless it's, just a series by a creator that I just really love. I really want to stop doing that. So less, you'll still see volume 1s, and then you'll see final volumes or getting the rest of a series when a series has concluded that I'm interested in, or collecting older series, things like that. But definitely trying to cut my pre-orders way down from what they were in the past. That's my number one goal. As far as my reading goals for 2024, I think my goal for 2023 was good. I met it. My goal was to read 400 books in the year, and I was about 450. And so the way I count my stuff is I count it by book. So if it's a 2-in-1, a 3-in-1, it still counts as one. So if you're counting them by individual volumes, I probably read closer to 500, 550 volumes for the year. But as far as individual books, I hit about 450, and I usually set my goal. I think 400 was a good goal, and it's a little over a volume a day, and that's very manageable for me. On weekends sometimes I'll read 2 to 3 volumes, but 1 volume a day is kind of my sweet spot as far as reading, but not feeling like I'm forcing myself to read. That you don't ever want to be in a spot where you kind of feel like you have to. I see some people where they're showing that they read 10, 12 volumes in a day. I can't even imagine that seems like a terrible way to read manga, but if you enjoy it, then do what works for you. So that's kind of my goals for the year. Like I said, main thing, buy way less. I started to get to where I needed to use another room to have manga, and I kind of don't want to be doing that. So try to keep unhauling stuff that I'm not interested in. So going on to the unhauling part of this, I'm going to show, I haven't done an unhauling video in a while, and so I pulled out about 100 volumes of stuff. Just stuff that, most of the stuff is not stuff that I hated. There is some stuff that like I just read this month that I didn't care for, but most of the stuff is just, it was just okay. But it's stuff that I know I'm not going to read a second time. I don't need to keep it in my collection. Doesn't make sense to. If it's a creator that I really like and there's something that I'm less interested in, then I might go ahead and keep it in my collection just because I'm collecting, I'm getting everything by that creator. But for most of the stuff, it's not that. It's just kind of like random series that, I gave 3 stars to, but I don't ever see myself rereading. So it's good to unhaul. It's good to pare down your collection so you don't get overwhelmed and you're not just hanging onto stuff just to have it. So let's get into the volumes that I'm going to be unhauling. And thanks for watching. Okay, so with this huge stack of stuff I'm going to be unhauling, I'm going to go through these fairly fast. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining why I'm getting rid of these volumes other than a quick, this is why. So if you have any more detail, if you want any more detail, please let me know in the comments and I'll let you know. So first off, we have Takopi's Original Sin. This is a all-in-one. This one was fine. I'm never going to reread this. That's going to be kind of the, once I've now hit over 3,000 manga, and I'm starting to have to go into another room, I kind of want to, you know, I kind of want to narrow down the stuff that I actually ever see myself rereading, and this is not one of them, so I'm going to move on from that. Next we have Tista. This is a short 2-volume series by the creator of Spy Family. The first volume of this was pretty mediocre. The second volume, I really had to force myself to finish. I really struggled finishing through this series, but it is a completed 2-volume series. Just not really for me. I didn't find it very interesting at all. We have It Takes Two Tomorrow 2 Volume 1. This is a new One Piece series. This is another one. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't really get too invested in the characters, even though I thought I would. It's kind of an adult slice of life. But yeah, just didn't do too much for me. I mean, maybe way down the line when this is completed, if people are raving about it, I'll take a look at it again, but I didn't need to. I'm not going to continue on with it. We have Cat on the Hero's Lap, Volume 1. This is another new series. This one here I actually did not like, so this one I bought, obviously, because it has a cat on the cover. But the main joke of this series gets repeated about 20 times, and that's literally all there is to the series, is the joke that these 3 adventurers are off trying to fight monsters, and every time they're about to fight, this cat jumps on one of their lap, and he can't knock it off. So funny joke for like a 10-page story, not a funny joke for an entire series, and literally the same exact thing happens 20 times probably in this little tiny volume. So yeah, the story didn't interest me, the characters weren't very interesting, so I will not be continuing this. Next up, we have another short 2-volume series. We have Monster Tamer Girls. This one was canceled, and so they kind of rushed it, finished in the 2nd volume. This is one that I read last year, I think. It was good, like I enjoyed it, but it wrapped up quickly. I don't see myself rereading it. When I bought it used, it came with these plastic covers on them, so I just left those on here. So this series I'll be turning in or selling off. We have a 4-volume Yuri series. Another one, I enjoyed this one, just it didn't wow me. It didn't, like, you know, it was kind of standard Yuri series. This is Our Teachers Are Dating, volumes 1 through 4. This is the one I mentioned when I read it, that these first 2 volumes look very wholesome with their covers, and then volume 3 goes way out there. And then we have Back to Wholesome for volume 4. So I'll be selling that off. Another Yuri one. This is Hungry for You. Endo Yasuko Stalks the Night. This is another one I think was canceled early because it wraps up super quickly. This has similar vibes to Vampires, not as good from what I read. I mean, another one. This one was okay. I think I gave most of these like 3 stars, but I just don't ever see myself rereading them. So here is the short 2-volume series of that. Okay, next we have another new series. We have Gap Papa, Daddy at Work and at Home. All I heard about this series was how wholesome, how cute this series was. I don't know what book you guys were reading, but this dude is a walking red flag in this first volume. Everything about him is psychopath vibes, so I will not be continuing this one. I did not enjoy this one at all. We have A Hero in the Demon's Castle, BL one-shot. This one, just, I really didn't care for it other than the cover artwork and design here. We have a manhwa horror 2-volume series. We have The Hellbound, like it says, now a Netflix original. This one was fine. I enjoyed the first volume. The second volume didn't do as much for me. It kind of ended weirdly. But again, just, you know, a lot of these, fine. I just never going to reread them, so we'll skip that. This stack here is kind of a lot of my October stuff. We have this another 4-in-1 release. The series is called Another. This one was okay, but not something I'm going to reread. So there's that. Then we have Yakuza Fiancé Volume 4. Nothing against this one. I just even with all the spreadsheet, all the record keeping I keep, I ordered 2 copies of Yakuza Fiancé, so I have an extra copy of Volume 4. So there's that. Okay, we have a old Tokyo Pop series. We have the Stellar 6 of Ganacho, I think. I had volumes 1 through 3 of this. This one was never completed in English, and so I'd been getting rid of those releases. This is one I bought for cheap a long, long time ago, and so I've never read it. And, you know, with it not being completed in English, I'm trying to get rid of those type of series out of my collection. Same thing here. I have a couple volumes of Cyborg 009, the manga. It's just going to be impossible for me to ever get this series. Hopefully someday they'll re-release it in nicer volumes. But I have 2 older volumes of this series, not in great condition. Here is My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, the paperback. This one I really enjoyed. I just got the new hardcover version, so I'm going to be selling off the paperback. We have Slumbering Beauty Volumes 1 and 2, another short 2-volume series. This one was fine, just not going to reread it. Nice artwork, but short 2-volume series. I am getting rid of all the Makoto Shinkai manga I had. If you read my reading log from November, I talk about how most of this I really didn't care for. And so I think if I'm going to engage in Makoto Shinkai's work, I'll just watch the original films, the original anime films, instead of these manga adaptations, because I didn't, other than maybe one of them, most of these I was not a big fan of. So we have Weathering with You volumes 1 through 3 that I had. We have The Garden of Words, which I really didn't care for. We had Voices of a Distant Star, which is the one of the releases that I did enjoy. But again, I'll just watch the film if I wanted to check that out. We have 5 centimeters per second. This one I did not read, but again, I'm just going to get rid of all of his. These are all just adaptations, so I'll just watch the original anime if I ever have any interest in checking out his work. And then we have Your Name, volumes 1 through 3. So there's that. So that is all the Makoto Shinkai I had, other than She and Her Cat. I did hold on to that one. I wanted to reread it. Just because I collect cat manga, I'm gonna double check that one out again. I was kind of mixed on it the first time and see if I want to keep that in my collection. Okay, next whip we have Origin Volume 1. This might be my least favorite book I read all year. This book is the epitome of something that's not for me. I probably will talk more about this in my reading log, so there's that. We have Lycanthrope Leo. This is an old Viz graphic novel volume. This one I actually enjoyed. It's very dated, but I did enjoy this. But it's just, it doesn't mention anywhere here that it's a volume 1, but it's literally just like the first part of a series. And so it just ends, and you know, if I ever want to continue this, I'll have to check it out somewhere else. So I don't need to keep this in my collection. I've had this random volume of Doubt, so Doubt Volume 1. This is in a long-running series where there's been a bunch of different series and they're all connected. I only have this Doubt Volume 1 that I got used a long time ago. A lot of the other series are out of print, very expensive. I don't know if I'm ever going to get them. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy them. So instead of just holding on to this one volume of Doubt, I'm just going to sell it off. We have the 2 H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness release from Go Tanabe. These got announced that they're releasing them in a deluxe version from Dark Horse, so that's the only reason I'm selling these off. They are fantastic. The artwork is fantastic. Next up, we have an actual fairly long series I'll be unhauling, and that is Girl Got Game. I have all 10 volumes of this. This is an old Tokyo Pop series. I picked it up. It's about basketball, and it's a romance series about basketball. So I figured I'd give this one a shot. I read through the first 3 volumes, and I did not really care for it. It was okay, but didn't grab me, so I'm going to unhaul this. I had gotten this for a cheap price, used. Most of them are in decent condition, fairly good condition. They are not ex-library copies, so I'll be selling that stack off. We have Black Knight Parade Volume 1. This is a kind of bizarre Christmas story about a Santa for the bad kids. The humor in this one just didn't really connect with me. It was okay. This is another one I gave 3 stars to, but I don't think I'm going to like this series or continue with this series, so I'm going to move on from this one. Here we have one that I did not read this one. This is Blade of the Moon Princess. This is when I was pre-ordering way too much stuff, and this is by the creator of Spy Family. This is some of their older work. I read Tista, I did not really care for it. I think I'm just gonna stick with Spy Family. I'm not really into action series that much, so this one doesn't seem like I'm really gonna enjoy it. You know, action Shonen Jump series, so I'm probably going to, unless this one gets completed and just gets rave reviews, maybe I'll check it out again, but I'm gonna move on from this volume. We have a few volumes of Crossplay Love Otaku Punk. This one, I read the first volume. I did not really care for it that much. It was okay, but it didn't really grab me, so I'm just going, these are the 3 volumes that I pre-ordered. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on from this series. I'm getting to the last stack here. We have another new series. This is Bocchi the Rock, I think, Volume 1. This was probably my biggest disappointment of the year. I expected to love this one. Slice of life music series. It just didn't grab me. None of the characters really hooked me that much. I wasn't very impressed with this first volume. It was kind of a slog to get through. This is another one, maybe once it's completed down the line, I'll go back to it. But yeah, didn't grab me with this first volume, so I'm gonna move on from it. We have a one-shot, Hana-chan and the Shape of the World. This one I read a while ago. Didn't really enjoy it. It was not that good, but I did just keep it in my collection. But yeah, I don't need to have this anymore. We have another short series. We have Rainbow and Black Volume 3. This one started off cute, but it's got some weird elements between this lady and this creature that kind of put me off a little bit, and it wasn't like blow you away anyways. It's just kind of a cute lady with her pet series, kind of this weird little alien looking thing. So it was enjoyable, wrapped up weirdly, but again, just I don't think I'm ever going to reread this, so I'm going to go ahead and move on from it. We have a sports series, Run on Your New Legs, volumes 1 through 5. This one is another one. I enjoyed this one. It was a good 5-volume series. I just don't think I'm going to reread it, and so I'm going to go ahead and move on from it. So I have all 5 volumes of this. This is one of the first manga series I read that brings up COVID, and COVID is a large part of the narrative that happens in that series. We have a very recent release, or a very recent read. I just recently read this series, and that is Strawberry Fields Once Again. I knew nothing about this series other than that it was a Yuri series, and it started off the first probably volume and a half. I really enjoyed it. It goes in some places, it gets way too time travel heavy and very confusing. And like the second half of this and the start of this, like I didn't have any, I read these one right after another. I was completely lost for most of the first half of this volume. And then it wraps up very fast. So Again, nothing bad about it. It's not terrible. I'm never going to reread this one. And so I'm going to pass on this short Yuri series. We have That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Volume 1. I randomly grabbed this from a used store earlier this year. Never read it. I don't really see myself getting invested in this universe. So I don't know why I grabbed this volume. I'm going to go ahead and move on from that. And then the last thing in this stack is another series. I only read volume 1 of this. I did really enjoy it, but it is a Shonen Jump series that I could read on the app if I wanted to. I don't know how long this is going to go, and so I don't really need to have this in my collection. And that is Kaiju number 8. So here we have 1 through 8. Do I have 1 through 8 or do I have 1 through 7? No, yeah, I have 1 through 7. The number 8 in the title was making me think of 8, but I'll be getting Unhauling all 7 volumes that I have of this series. And like I said, I really enjoyed the first volume. It didn't seem like a series that normally be up my alley, but I did really enjoy that first volume. But I just don't see myself getting too into it, and if I do, I'm just going to read it through the Shonen Jump app. I don't really need to have a long-going kind of action series like this in my collection. Okay, so that is everything that I'm unhauling and my goals for 2024. If you are interested in anything here that I'm unhauling, please let me know in the comments. You can also reach out to me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, anything there, or like I said, just let me know in the comments if there's anything here that you're interested in. Usually I start listing stuff on Reddit Swap first, and then if I don't get any bites there, then I'll list stuff on Mercari and kind of eBay as a last resort. I usually leave eBay for like the really expensive stuff, really rare stuff, which none of this really is very rare. So all this stuff will be going for fairly cheap. And if you have any issues with any of the stuff that I'm getting rid of, any things you think I am stupid for getting rid of, please let me know in the comments. Anything you think I should have held on to. Obviously that's not going to change my mind, but I'm interested in other people's opinions on some of these series, some of the things that I just really wasn't that impressed with. Like I said, I know people love some of these. Some of them just didn't. It's not something I'm going to reread. That was more the point of clearing off this much stuff. It seemed like more than I was actually, when I was pulling stuff off the shelves, it seemed like quite a lot more than what's stacked here. Really only about 2 shelves worth of stuff is getting, is going. And when you have over 3,000 volumes, this small of an amount doesn't really make a dent, but it will allow me to easily put in everything that I got in the month of December, which is awesome. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and have a great one.